And we're off. This is CBR number one. This was Sunday, June 13th, and they had the welcome back crit. This is the first of their 7 race series where there's point totals and so this is the official, I guess, kickoff, if you will. But this is also the same weekend as Tulsa Tough. So a lot of the hitters, not just in the Masters field, this is the 35 plus, 40 plus category 1, 2, 3 combined but scored separate field. A lot of these guys that would normally be in these fields are also racing Masters Tulsa Tough. So still big fields, but not some of the same hitters. Phil Tinsman is someone that I always look to try to get into a break with, and Carl Bourdine. I apologize, Carl, I've been saying your name wrong. I didn't know there's an R in Bourdine, so my apologies for that. But yeah, Monster Racing, those guys were kicking butt. I think they might have won the overall for the 40 plus Master A group in Tulsa, but I was scheduled to go to Tulsa. Unfortunately, really unfortunately, had a really close family member pass away, and the memorial service was Saturday. So pulled out of Tulsa Tough, had an awesome funeral service celebrating the life of a really, really special lady. My wife's aunt, actually, but was able to then drive down to LA Sunday to race CBR just for the day. Richard Gable's in this with me. He's the other Vela Kings rider you'll see. There's Johnny Lance in the rear view, the Evoque Racing. Johnny just came back from hip replacements. It was cool to see him out here mixing it up. Got to know him really well last year racing the Tour of North Georgia. Both parts 1 and part 2 was the Super Omnia. Really good dude. But yeah, so this is a 50-minute crit. This is the second crit for me of the day. This is like 12 o'clock start time. The first one I did was the 45 plus / 50 plus Masters 1, 2, 3, and got in a 4-man breakaway with Patrick Voss, Scott Cox, you see them in Pete's jersey, and another Patrick from I think Go Fast Cycling. And we got in the break like 10 minutes into it, if that, and put 40 seconds on the field. I was feeling great. Start coming through these corners. My back tire's feeling a little sketchy, and I had a puncture. I had a slow leak, and it was getting pretty sketchy coming around the corners. So I pulled into neutral. Richard was not in that race. He told it beforehand. He ran over with the bike pump. We pumped it up, got it back out there. I thought it was losing air again, so they reinserted me back in the brake, and I just it was more in my head than anything at that point. But I pulled out, got the tire plug, put a dyno plug in it, and it held air. But they were going to put me in at that point, lapped out from the field, and so but I'll just save it for this race. So that race, the 3 guys in the break, they ended up staying away, and so it was the winning break. Kudos to them for pulling off 1, 2, 3. I got to watch the finish of that from the sidelines. So new tire, and 2 races later we're back in it. There's a green bell ringing, but a little bit bummed about that. But yeah, so this is race number 2. There's Johnny again in the rear view. I thought I'd throw the rear view camera on the full, just because I'm in the front of the race a lot, and there's probably more action going along behind me than in front of me. But try to give you guys both here. I was really motivated. There's Patrick Voss right there with the red gloves. He got second in the 3-man break in that prior race I mentioned. He was bummed I wasn't in it with him. I was bummed I wasn't in it with him. So let's try and get in a break in this one too. And so that was kind of the objective here. That's why I'm kind of sitting at the front. Plus, I just kind of like to sit at the front so I can, or near the front so I can react they're running this course, let's see, counterclockwise opposite direction as it ran last time. And so there's kind of an uphill between turn 3 and 4. They were calling it their own heartbreak hill or crybaby hill. This is that uphill. It wasn't too steep, but it definitely it slowed the field down a little bit coming into the last turn. But it also, I think it was like 200 meters from the corner to the start-finish line, running it this way. Where the other way, I think you probably have 300 meters from the final corner. But this is kind of the top of the course here, turn 4, the high spot, and onto the front stretch. This is one of the hit squad guys, one of Patrick Boss's teammates there. He is in the red gloves, white black kid again. We got a couple guys up the road. I was hoping a couple guys would get away and then I'd try to attack and bridge up to them. Because whenever I started an attack, I was marked pretty heavily. I'm kind of known as the guy that starts breaks. So is Patrick. So that he comes through, kind of come on his wheel, but we're kind of all together. Another guy I like to work with, he's also in this, he's the 35 plus Kyle Cooper, the team 6, the red black kid, actually I think it is. He moves up towards the front pretty early on in the race and kind of starts to move, counters some stuff, but man, the first race, I didn't even know we were in it. I was just on the front. We're rolling along, and somebody else, we got a gap. It was, the break just kind of came to be. But we opened it up and locked it in. So there's a tap coming up the outside there. A couple guys go. I kind of just let those guys go, hoping maybe they can stay away. Trying to gauge the quality of the riders when these breaks go up the road. Hoping they're good riders that are going to work, that can stay away, that then you can bridge up to. I don't know these guys. I don't know if they were quality or if this was just kind of an attack to try to wear the field down a little bit. But I mean, I caught up to them without really much effort, but just kind of brought the field back up. It was nice weather down here today too. Or yesterday. I guess this is the day after I got around to getting the video up. It's a long day. I ran out of steam. I thought maybe I'll knock it out when I got home. We were actually watching Tulsa Tough on my MacBook connected to my hotspot. I made Richard drive back. Took my car. I usually am an all-time driver, but I was smoked after this race. We didn't stick around. We were both registered for the P12 race. We just thought, you know what? It's gonna be a long drive back. Sunday afternoon traffic. I think more people were going out of town because kids are out of school, etc. And so I was like, hey man, you mind driving? At least to Magic Mountain, where we always stop for in and out. And we got there, and the men's race was on, so we actually just sat in the parking lot there and watched Legion just clean up again. Finale at Tulsa Tough. Here's Charles Hot Rod Hogan. He didn't know that, but David Wells gave him that nickname before the race when he was doing some of his announcing. He's a super good dude. He's a good brake mate too. He's got an engine like me where maybe not looking for it to come down to a sprint, but hoping it doesn't. I think he and I are kind of like-minded there, so he'd try to go when I went, I'd go when he went, kind of thing. But this guy kind of shoots up the inside. I think it's that Team Orange. I'm not sure. The orange kit, something orange. There was a lot of guys. They had a 6 or 7 guys. And they're always kind of animating the race, trying to get something going. But again, I didn't know who their stronger guys were, who their guys were that were just kind of sacrificing themselves. So I usually didn't jump when they went. I'd kind of look around to see who else was going to react. I don't think I don't think we had any crashes in this race, which was good. To me this is a super safe course. I mean, it's a four corner crit, really wide entrance and exit, good pavement. Unlike Copperopolis, I raced that road race last weekend. That was the opposite of good pavement, and that was obviously a road race, but it's just good. They had cones to kind of narrow that back stretch between turn 1 and 2, and kind of warned you, if you go outside the cones, when we see you, you're disqualified. But other than that, I mean, they kept the road close to cars good. There's Kyle Cooper. I tried to bridge up to these guys, but thought we could get something going on the backside and then kind of pop it off coming into turn 3 to 4 where that hill is. And I just didn't think we had the right composition in the brake, I guess, because like I would go and then I pulled again here after I bridged up to these guys. But you can look back, we're not gaining a lot of ground. So I think if a break was going to happen, it wasn't really super cohesive. So it would have to be like maybe a 2-man break, and it had to be really strong guys too, because if you only got 2 guys working, it's hard to put on. There's Patrick Penneholster. I thought maybe he was going to kind of attack through that corner, but just kind of strings it out. Doesn't really don't have enough separation. I'm on the left side here for these guys, and then I kind of slot him back behind them. Little bit of a headwind between turn 2 and 3, but actually it was a pretty calm day. Temperatures are probably low to mid 70s, really nice. It's going to be 111 degrees here in Fresno this week, I think, like Thursday and Friday. We have a time trial. I'll do a 20-mile time trial, getting the TT bike dialed in for Masters Nationals, but we're doing that Wednesday. So I think it's only going to be like 103 or something that afternoon, but definitely good for I guess heat adaptation. Yeah, only 102 on Wednesday, but Thursday 109, Friday 111, Saturday 111, Sunday 108. So it's going to be a warm weekend here. But that's the other nice thing about coming down here. It's nice weather, but there's no NorCal races going on, or I should say when there's not. I try to get down here, try to support these guys, try to bring some teammates down when we can. We had a teammate, Brian Cortez. He's not Masters. He's sub 35, that's the exact age, but he's come down here. He raced the 2-3 Elites and won the first stage of the Tour of Murrieta. I think that was last weekend. Before that, he came down and won the Majestic, the 3-4 race, and got his Cat 3 upgrade to that. And then he raced right before this race, and he won that race. That was the 3-4 race. So he's going to be a Cat 2 pretty soon, but it's cool. And he lives like, gosh, almost an hour and a half, 2 hours north of us. So he's got, a 6-hour drive to get down here and race the crit. It was pretty cool commitment, and it's nice to see his efforts, paying off.
He was in the break last race.
When you're coming that far, you have to come the night before. So it makes it hard for a day trip when you got 6 hours to drive it. I got up at 4:30 yesterday morning, race day morning, and on the road by 5:30, and pushed the speed limit a little bit, but made about 3.5 hours, 4 hours with a drive-through breakfast stop and stuff. There's Danny Camp, Black Cortex Monster kid. He was staying up near the front. He'd be a good guy to get a break with, and he can sprint too, so he doesn't need to get in a break. I took second to him, I think the last time I came down here for one of the races. And, a lot of his teammates are in Tulsa Tough, but he can win without teammates. In fact, I think he won the sprint here.
Let someone get worded up and then launch off Yeah.
So I think I'm telling Kyle here, let's let something get up the road, or let's wait till a preem, and then we'll counter it and let this guy go. Yeah, that was Kyle I was talking to. So that's the, I guess, red and black kit. Good dude, good racer. Again, like-minded, likes to breakaways, likes to make it happen. He's got a good sprint too. He's been racing really well. And he'll do this race, and then I think he'll jump in the P1 too. And he's usually inside of the top 10 there. So he's really strong and getting stronger. Seems like getting faster, getting smarter. All the things we all aspire to do when we race, right? But unfortunately, we've got one guy up the road. He's almost too far that no one really wants to bridge up to him. And so I think we just kind of let him dangle out there, and no one really makes a move up to him. But I was active in this race. I mean, I think I looked at my power summary and training peaks, and I was like, I think 338, 340 watts normalized for 50 minutes. So after half a race earlier and then sitting around, which isn't great for your legs. But yeah, I put in some digs here, and it felt a lot hotter than 75 by the time this one was all said and done. But, it was good training. It's the whole idea to get down here, sharpen your racecraft a little bit, and get some race fitness in. So here's a move over to the other side. A couple fans over. I felt like an attack before turn 3 would be a good move, because then you get into that 3 to 4 uphill. That guy in the black kit was strong too with the armband there. Tried to go and he went. And here again, you got a right to left crosswind. So if I'm going to pull up this hill, I'm going to kind of gutter left, so that at least the guys behind me are having to eat wind a little bit from the right to left, even though they're getting the benefit of the draft still. But, maybe there's 2 riders up there now. It sounds like listening to David Wells announcing. But it's early in the race. When you don't feel like covering the move, you move other people on. So. Kind of just slotted in. I didn't want to lead the charge on this one, because I didn't think it was going to come to anything anyway. And I think I counter actually up here with this guy with the silver Massey flag, the all black kit, this gold armband. He was strong. I think he got upset because we had a little break going, a little gap, and I flicked him through before the corner, and he wanted me to pull the corners. He just shut it down. So whatever. So I think headed back down next Sunday for Father's Day for the Majestic Crit. It's another fun kind of SoCal. So just they got going. Alfie Sanchez puts that on. Jeff Prince puts on CBR, California Bike Racing. Both really good dudes. Huge respect and props to every race promoter out there. More so than ever, being that Richard Gable and I, co-founders of our team, I'll say he put on races. I just kind of walked behind him and did what he told me. He definitely was the front and center guy. But we put on 3 races this year to kind of jumpstart the NorCal racing scene, and man, it's a lot of work. So if you're a bike racer, make sure you thank your race promoters, because it's a labor of love. Yeah, I guess you can make a few bucks doing it, but man, it's a lot of work. Whether you've got volunteer corner workers or you're paying them, even those folks, they're not obviously doing it for the money. That's not a full-time gig for them. But just appreciate everyone that makes the sport happen. Because without races, then there's no racers, and I like to be a bike racer. So. I think we just have these 2 guys up the road here, but I figured this is one to let someone else close and then maybe counter off of. And so I'm pulling here, but I'm forehead on the stem, arrow, trying to carry speed without putting out watts, conserve a little bit. I think we're coming up to about the halfway point in the race. There's Danny, the green bar tape, Danny Cam. So he's probably staying more towards the front than maybe he would otherwise, because he doesn't have the numbers and teammates. He's a sprinter, so maybe figures that he needs to cover a break if one gets up the road. Yeah, he did a good job. I think he stayed near the front, but did a better job of not being on the front, right? So he's a good racer, super smart. So he got in that move up there, it looks like. Now I'm kind of surging up to it. So this one kind of strung it out, but it wasn't really a hard attack. These guys are just kind of rolling off the front, which everyone has time to kind of react and close. You need to kind of attack from probably 4, 5, 6, 7 wheels back or more. Maybe attack before a corner, so people can't really get organized to counter it until after, and you can open up the gap a little more. But I think this guy kind of just rolls. So there's kind of 2 trains right now, left side and right side. I kind of stay right side, and I make it through the corner first. But there's Danny, like I said, near the front, not on the front, just watching, react when he needs to, but keeping his powder dry, keeping his fitness ready for when it's actually necessary and needed. Just a smart racer, good, and very accomplished racer too. Comes the orange. Is it just Team Orange, maybe? So they kept it going. There's Scott again. He got third in the first race. He's the other guy in the break of the 3. He's riding strong. He's Pete's is kind of a NorCal team, so it's kind of fun to see him down here. Danny was saying something to catch up. stringing it out here. I don't know if it's the string is snapped or not. But you know, Kyle Cooper's putting in a good dig there. But look, I mean, we're all connected, so I do the same thing. But I think I tell them we're back together. I'm trying to counter it a little bit on the hill. But all right, well, let's get it going. I think I'm actually out of the EC this camera. That's me moving, not him. I think I moved a little out of the saddle surge to try to start something off, but I think I needed someone to pull through. I didn't have it, so it's kind of a wasted shot fired. Yeah. Oh, damn, let's go. Like, I do all of that, and these guys just shut it down. So, it is what it is. They probably have a role to play with their teams. It's obviously not to work in a break, so. The hard part is I can't be in every break. And so, you know, if you don't try, Murphy's Law might be the one you're not in gets away, but I don't know. I was not super concerned about tactics as much as just, you know, putting in some solid watts, getting a good workout. See, here I go again. I think I bridge up. This is a guy in all black. This is where we get. Now this is good. Like this is two guys, but we're strong, and you know, we're 20 minutes left in the race. I had to work hard to bridge up to this. I don't know if you maybe thought I was on his wheel the whole time.
Let's go.
Because I finally catch him here, and then he flicks me through, and I'm pulling up the hill. And I'm pulling, and I'm pulling, and I'm going, and I'm thinking, he's glancing back, we're still good. But I flick him through before the corner. I mean, I guess I could have not pulled as hard up the hill, but they're trying to open it up. And there he goes, you got to make it to the turn. And he just sits up here. So, all that energy just wasted. So, like, yeah, I guess they'll both sit up and let them all back on. But I felt like that could have been a move. I don't know, maybe if I'd have pulled with the corner, he would have worked harder. But, you know, I wasn't on his wheel. I basically had to bridge from turn 1 all the way. It's like I was pulling solo from turn 1 to turn 4. But so now there's going to be a counterattack, or there is one. He's up the road. So that's the risk you play. You go too deep into a break, and then it gets brought back and you get countered. You can't go with the next one because you're still recovering. But I should have slotted back in. I should have recovered better. And if the break went, it went. But instead, I just stayed on the front, or near the front, pretty much on the front, and didn't recover hard enough. So I go left. No one follows me. Just come back across, no problem. Back on the front. So I was super active in this race. The other reason, you know, you see the rear view camera full screen, the front view and the upper right, because it's on the front. Like, you guys want to see the bike racers, not just open roads. So, hope this is okay. Try it this way. Let me know in the comments if you guys like it. There it goes. It's a good spot to attack too. About midway up the Crybaby or Heartbreak Hill, whatever they're calling it, into the front side. And I'm pretty tired right now. I'm kind of just filing back. got to recover a little bit. But I'm trying to think if I might have 10 to go here on lap cards. Yeah, this field just wouldn't let a brake go. So guess I'll work on my field sprint. Maybe I would invest harder in tactics, and it's going to come down to a sprint. But for me, man, it's safety first. I don't want to go down. Number one, because it hurts, but number two, I don't want to get injured. Like I am kind of focusing in. Big target race for me right now is Masters National in Albuquerque. That's the first week of August. Still kind of toying around the idea of maybe doing Baker City Cycling Classic. That's a time stage race in Eastern Oregon. That's in 2 weeks. Just a 12-hour drive. So you got a day of travel on each end, plus 3 days of racing. I think they double up the crit and the TT on one day, but it's like road race, TT, crit, road race. I think is the format. Looks like decent sized field. It's not a USAC or USA Cycling Sanction stage race. It's ORBA, which is like Oregon Bicycle Racing Association. So, which is fine. I try to support USAC races, at least in the geographies where USAC is relevant. So, like in NorCal, I'm not going to do an ORBA race. I want to support USAC because I feel like if the racers get divided, then they're going to have crappy fields for ORBA and they're going to have crappy fields for USAC. So, but in Oregon, that's ORBA country, man. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. But I do have a TT bike now, so I'm kind of more inclined to want to do stage races, not having to rely on the sub 30-second Merckx time bonus, but to just go toe to toe. And if you can throw down a good TT time, that can really set you up in the GC on a time stage race. So. But to be determined. As far as road races go, I think otherwise the next one potentially on the horizon is Bariani Road Race. It's a NorCal race, I think maybe July 10th, somewhere around there. If it happens, I don't know if it's permitted. It will happen. I know there's a NorCal crit coming up. I think Land Park is the next crit. Maybe Lodi Cycle Fest. I don't know. But as far as road races, they're kind of few and far between. So I'm a lot more inclined to, make a road trip or jump on an airplane for a stage race, justify the travel time and cost. I like the road races too. I mean, theoretically, crits tend to finish in a field sprint, so usually a crit's not going to make or break you in a time stage race because you're going to get close to same time minus the maybe 5 or 10 second bonus for first, or they'll put some time bonus premiums in crits when in the stage race. Didn't do Tour of Murrieta, was I think last weekend down there, but it was also the same weekend as the NorCal Copperopolis Road Race. So after the good north, the teammate came down, mentioned Brian. He raced the 2-3s. He came in fifth in the GC. It's weird when they do a points omnium, point stage race. it could really skew, the overall winner. If you get a bunch of points premiums, you might not even be in the top 5 or something in the other events, but you can still win the overall. So looks like Kyle's gonna make a little attack up the outside, going into the uphill. Definitely putting the herd on the field doing this. The surges. Guys in the back are having to really work to get back on. Let's see where my teammate Richard is. I think he moved up on my wheel towards the end. I think Sean Bagwell was too. I think Sean might have got second in this one. I saw a podium pick where he is. I don't know if it was this race. Usually we kind of stick around and debrief with those guys afterwards, evoke guys, but we kind of just got on the road after this race. And I parked in turn 1 and parked in the main area because it was full back there. Yeah, we're getting close, so maybe 7 to go. I'll try to look for lap cars next time through. See where we're at. About 10 or 15 minutes of racing left. Kyle's a good communicator. He said, get me left off this guy's wheel, so I kind of pulled him up and around, kind of to the front, then I'll let him pull through. But this doesn't do anything to. This is just me kind of we're trying to recover on the front. I mean, I guess the benefit is if you're first into turn 3, then you're at the top of the hill, you can file back. Not go up the hill as hard and still stay connected. But, this is kind of unwise. Like I didn't need to be on the front the whole time because then a move goes halfway up the hill, but I still need to recover. I figure we'll just slot in behind it. Lap cards. Or the lap light.
Mark Tucker's gonna have to make a big decision here.
David Wells. Mark Tucker's gonna have to make a big decision. Decide to sit in until you're gonna attack would be a better decision. It's coming down to the wire. If I'm gonna get a break established, it's kind of now or never time. Because you kind of roll to the front, but again, it doesn't typically create the separation versus someone attacking and then hoping someone bridges up to that person if you're the guy that attacks. But I mean, it's strung out, but Scott elbows me through. I'll ramp it up a little harder, but we don't have the gap. We're just toe in the field. Maybe 5 to go, 4 to go coming up. So I just try to stay connected to this move. I don't. They're just kind of setting up now. It was a decent field. I mean, 50, I think 54 guys on this one. I think I did like a Hail Mary attack with like 3 to go. So we'll see when that happens. I remember racing this course this direction a couple seasons ago in the P1-2. And Justin Williams, he just attacks hard on the inside, comes around everyone, right into turn 3, like out of the saddle, attacking through the corner, and it worked. I mean, he got a good jump. So I try to channel my inner Justin Williams and try to throw off a similar attack. So it might be next lap then. I think we're on 4 to go. Big Orange, that's the name of the team. Not Team Orange, Big Orange. They got the numbers. So this is either 3 to go or 4 to go. We'll know if I attack here, going into turn 3. If I do, it's 3 to go. If not, then it's 4. Coming up here. So it must be on 4 to go. So next lap will be 3. Pat Boss, he's strong. It's a good wheel. We just couldn't put it together. Couldn't synchronize it. So I pulled through, but we're all. It's all back together. There's a couple of Big Orange guys. I don't know if they were trying to move into position, maybe get a lead out train started. There's 2 or 3 of them up there. back straightaway coming into turn 3, and here I attack. But obviously I didn't attack hard enough. Putting some hurt on these guys, I guess, because I'm going pretty hard right here.
In 2018.
And then I think I look back and shut it down here. That was probably not the wisest move, because now we're coming into 2 to go, and I need to recover. And he goes Danny talking to his teammate. And get that final 2-lap kind of wheel to actually lead up. I think Kyle kind of rails his corner turn 2 up here.
On your wheel, hot rod.
Comes across in front of me, and I had to keep coming over. Maybe it wasn't there. I had a last lap. So I think 2 to go. We'll see Bell lap next time around. There's my teammate Richard, right there, and there's Bagley behind him, Sean Bagley.
Underneath you. You're in the water.
So Surge is here, but I stay inside, and it fans across and then comes back, which is kind of nice. So this is. So we moved up a lot right there. We're kind of towards the back, and here was able to kind of pull Richard through. I wish I knew he was on my wheel. And he told me before the race, don't race for me. I'm just going to go out here and race for fitness. But he's got a good sprint, and so now we're at the front, coming into Bell lap. And if I'd have known he was there, I could have just, raced it to die and tried to drop him off on turn 4. Instead, I'm trying to freelance a little bit to get in position to sprint, so I'm not pushing the pace. We kind of get swarmed here a little bit. This is going into turn 1, so we're on Bell lap now. A little dicey there. One of the guys did a little brake check. There's Bagley. Yeah, if we could coordinate this, I mean, shoot, if I could leave Bagley out and then Bagley drops Richard off to launch, like, that would have been a fun move. So, memo to self, be a little more aware of your surroundings, know who's around you. So it definitely speeds up here on the backside, but I felt like it just slowed way down going up the hill. Like no one wanted to go until we got to the top of the hill. So I'm still moving up. I go on over the top of these guys, I think. So this is that last hill coming into turn 4. And I should have maybe gone outside of these guys. There's Danny coming around. He just motors it. He just launches. He wins the whole thing. Now there's kind of a little sprint to the corner, and then the real sprint. And I'm going backwards. I'm losing position. But I stand up for sprint. I still had legs. I'm like, shoot. Kind of came out pretty good. I put in a decent, but a little too late. Richard finished behind me. I think we came in, 11th, 12th, something like that. But there you have it. CBR crit in the books. Thanks for watching. comment, like, subscribe, share. Get the subs up. Thanks, guys.